Yo. What's going on, man? I always got to do this drop down thing. What's going on to the people, man? Happy Sunday. I appreciate everybody for tapping in as always. This is the ChrisBeCappinn NBA show. We have a 2-game slate for today. So I figured I'd handicap these games, do a quick show for you guys. The live show will return tomorrow evening at 5 p.m. This week was a little more difficult for me to do evening shows. So we'll be back with those on tomorrow evening. Probably still do some night shows as well. So big slate for tomorrow. Of course, the NBA didn't want to put too many games on Super Bowl Sunday, which makes a lot of sense. So we got a couple more games before we get into the All-Star break, which I think the last game's on Thursday this year. So we got games on tomorrow. We got a big slate on I think Wednesday, I think it is, and then Thursday, I think it's like 2 games, and then teams will go into the All-Star break. So we're gonna jump right into it, man. Like I said, I always say the same thing. Like all the links to my official plays are in the description. Appreciate everybody for joining as members. Live plays as well. Probably end up giving out some live plays today, if I'm being honest with you guys. And these games do come on a little bit earlier, so something to take into the handicap as well. The Boston and Miami game comes on at 2:10, and then the Sacramento and OKC game comes on at 3:10 because the Super Bowl, of course, starts after around about 6:30. All these are Eastern Standard Time. So we'll jump right into it. Also, if you guys are watching on Twitter, follow me on YouTube because sometimes sometimes I'm not streaming on both platforms, and vice versa. Sometimes you're watching on YouTube. Definitely want to follow me on Twitter as well, or X, whatever you want to call it. So that you do know when I go live, if you want to turn the notification bell on. But like, comment, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. We're going to jump right into it for today. Only a couple games. And quick recap of yesterday. I talked about a lot of things that I like, and I actually forgot to give out a play, but it's all good. I talked about liking Orlando a lot. I did take Orlando minus the 4, and that game did go to overtime, but they did win 4.5, I think it was the number. But one official, I told you guys yesterday, my favorite play was the Cleveland Cavaliers. Just catching Toronto on the second leg of the back-to-back. It really was never a contest after the first quarter, so that was a pretty easy winner. And then Memphis dropped the ball, man. They were in a really great spot yesterday. Couldn't get it done. You see Charlotte found they had some newfound life. I was watching that game yesterday, getting Trey Mann, a couple of those other guys who came in from, being traded. Seth Curry playing in front of his dad. Memphis just couldn't get stops, which is something that we haven't seen. Memphis typically does get stops and struggle to score, but I think that that game did go over the total. And Memphis, of course, couldn't get stops late, and that's why they ended up losing. So slight step back yesterday, minus just almost a half a unit there, but we're still up 20. I think it's 27. Yeah, 27 and a half units is what you guys see here. So looking to build off that and don't really enjoy the slate too much, but wanted to talk it out with you guys today. So getting into it, first game of the 2 games we got, as I already mentioned, is the Celtics and the Heat. So you got the Heat they'll be at the crib tonight, this afternoon, taking on the Boston Celtics. And you see the line kind of moving down. I kind of like the Heat in this spot, man. I know that they're not the greatest team, and I'm gonna give you guys a lot of angles to probably want to back Boston here. The biggest one being, Jimmy Butler listed as questionable for this game. That's really the only injury implications for this one. Xavier Tillman did come over in the trade from Memphis. He's going to be unavailable for the foreseeable future. But the Celtics were 40-12 without him, so pretty sure he's not going to move the needle too much. And getting into the Celtics, this team has been absolutely on fire. 40-12 straight up, 15-9 against the spread, 15-9 straight up on the road. So they are winning games on the road. And then you look at Miami; they've not been the greatest team. 28-24 on the season, 15-12 straight up at home. And then as far as recent how these teams have played recently, the Celtics, they have been doing well overall, 8-2 straight up, but they haven't been covering those really big numbers. Just 3-7 against the spread in their last 10 games. You can kind of tell. I was reading through some Boston Celtics, literature, we'll call it. And, Joe Mazzulla said his guys, you can kind of tell that they're, just going through the motions and really just want, the All-Star break, especially when you're 40-12, you're number 1 in the Eastern Conference. You do kind of just want to get to the finish line. And, you do get a big finish line for them coming up here. As I see the line, trickle down from the 6 to the 5.5, it looks like on most books. The Heat, not the greatest team as we kind of talked about. They are 4-6 straight up in their last 10 and against the spread. Now, situationally, looking at the Boston Celtics first, this team is 10, 12, and 2 against the spread on the road. So they haven't been profitable overall on the road. This will be their first road game after 6 straight home games, and they're playing on one day's rest here. The Heat, um, however, not the greatest. They're not the greatest team when it comes to being a dog, especially a home dog. We know that the Heat play a little bit better on the road than they do at home, but on the season so far, they've been home dog 6 times. They failed to cover each one of those games. 0-6 straight up, and against the spread as a home dog this season. They've lost um, on an average line of 4.5 is how many points that they were getting as home dogs. They lost by 12 points on average, and they're also just 3-7-1 against the spread in revenge games this season as well. So not the greatest spot if you're looking to back the Miami Heat in this game. Um, also, but I will say this: one of the things that they have in their favor in this spot is you catch Boston, first road game after 6 straight home games, and then for Miami, it'll be the 4th straight and final home game before they actually go and take on the Bucks in Milwaukee on Tuesday. From a head-to-head perspective, I mean, this goes back to the last couple years, but more recently, we know Boston lost Game 7 in Boston last year. And then Boston has put it on Miami every single game this season. They beat them 143-110 on January 25th in the most recent matchup in Miami. They were laying 8.5 points in that game. And the Heat were on the second leg of a back-to-back. I think they had just beat they actually lost to Memphis. And that was, when they were going through their little spurt of, losing all those games in a row. I think they had lost like 6 or 7 in a row. In the first meeting of the season, going back to, I want to say the first game of the season, second game of the season, Boston did beat Miami 119 and 111 as well. They were laying 9 points in that game. So they didn't cover, but they did win the game by 8. So, I mean, a lot of what I'm telling you guys is, take Miami, take Boston. Boston should win the game, fairly easy. I do think that we got to, as much as I want to take Miami in this spot, I'm not looking towards Boston. I just think that, watching them play in that game, could they come out here super focused in this game? Yeah. But could they win this game by 3 or 4 points? I think so. I do think so. If I want Miami, I need Jimmy Butler in there, though. We know he's a gamer. He's a competitor. And I think he's kind of rounding in the form, man. I think around this time of the year, maybe after the All-Star break, we'll see Jimmy Butler, start to take these games a little bit more serious, especially where Miami, going on that long losing streak. The other thing I think is important to mention, so he is listed as questionable in this game for personal reasons. Not sure what those are, but I can't play Miami without Jimmy Butler. He's coming off a game where he had a triple-double, I think, against the San Antonio Spurs. And I need Jimmy to be in if I want to take Miami in this spot. As far as the total goes, I think Jimmy also influences the total a lot, right? So the total in the most recent matchup went over to 225 by 28 points. And in the first matchup when these two teams played, that game went over to 217.5 by 13 points. So back-to-back overs. This total did open at 225.5, and it's up to 226. Now, Miami has been playing a little bit better defense, right? I think their defensive rating over the last 5 games is like 103.2, which is like the second best defensive rating in the league. So I do think that, I mean, and granted, they haven't been playing against Boston, but Boston's offense has been, a little lackadaisical. Like I said, I think they just kind of want to get to the finish line. Miami is 4-2 to the over as home dogs this season in those games where they haven't covered or won any of them. And they are 8-3 to the over in revenge games as well this season. So maybe they just come out here and play a little bit better, offense, but their defense still struggles. I just kind of feel like, listening to the quotes from Eric Spoelstra, he said that they kind of, put us in our place. And I kind of feel like Miami's one of those teams that's not going to let that happen again, even on, a Sunday as a home dog here. So, given the 3 days of rest for Miami in this spot, they haven't played since Thursday when they beat the San Antonio Spurs. In comparison to the 1 day of rest for Boston, who are coming off 6 straight home games, take into account that Miami got blasted by 30 in that last game. I do lean Miami plus the 6 here. The total to me is a little difficult. Like I said, if I play it, I do want Boston. I do want Jimmy Butler in, of course. The offenses and the defense is not going to be as good without Jimmy Butler. So, he kind of influences the total as well. I think, I know both of the games have gone over so far this season. I do think, contrarian look, I do think that the under will be in play in this game. I can see Miami playing a slow kind of, grinded out style. I don't think that they'll want to get out and run with Boston. And I think that defensively, they'll take pride on the defensive end. So I kind of lean towards the under 226. Like I said, to play the game, I need Jimmy Butler. I need to play the side or the total. I do need Jimmy Butler to be a part of the game, though. And these 5 and these 6s are getting, getting steamed down to 5.5 right now as I'm looking at the odds, the live odds screen. So staying away from props, but those are the ways that I'm looking in this game. It'd be Miami plus a 6, and it'd be the under 226 if I had to play anything. But like I said, I do need the status of Jimmy Butler first. So hold on, we got one more game. Where my other game go? I thought I had another. I made a slide for the other game, man. I don't even see it on here. That's 4, that's 3, that's 2, and that's 1. Maybe it didn't. Maybe it didn't work. I made the slide, and we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it on the resources page, I guess. We got the Sacramento Kings and the Oklahoma City Thunder. This game will be played at OKC today. I'm not sure where my slide went, but we got the Sacramento Kings playing the Oklahoma City Thunder. This game will be played in OKC, of course. OKC on the second leg of the back-to-back, and Sacramento playing on 1 day's rest. So pretty clean injury report for the Sacramento side. Also pretty clean injury report for the Oklahoma City Thunder side. There's something that's going to be interesting. No, I'm not sure if he's going to play, but Bismack Biyombo did sign a contract with the Oklahoma City Thunder to play throughout the rest of the season. That's a big pickup. I don't think a lot of people probably paying attention to that, but they needed a big, and they didn't go out and trade for one. They decided to sign Bismack Biyombo, who's going to play defense, rebound the basketball, set screens. He's not much of a floor spacer because all he's going to do is roll. He can't pop. But Bismack Biyombo is a big side. I'm not sure if he's going to play in this game or not. You see the money coming in on Sacramento in this spot. This line opened in favor of OKC laying 4, and now it's down to 3. Total going up from 238 up to 239 and a half, some 240s out there as well. And I kind of got to look towards the over. I think that's the biggest play in this game. But before we get there, let's look at the actual team. So the Kings, this team, as much as they're flawed and as they should be, because they are super inconsistent, they are 30-12. I'm sorry, 30-21 straight up on the season, and they've been a much better road team than they have been home team. 15-12 straight up on the road, 16-10-1 against the spread on the road. And the Thunder, they've been great. 35-17 straight up, 20-6 straight up at home, 17-9 against the spread at home. However, they have not looked that great recently, man. They are 16-4 against the spread in home wins. So if you just blindly been, taking them to cover the spread at home for the entirety of the season, you've done well. Although in the last 4 games, they've actually failed to cover 3 of the last 4 games after covering 15 of their first 16 games against the spread. So I'm talking about the games that they've won. So they win, but they haven't been covering. The last couple games, like I said, 3 of the last 4, they've won at home, but they have not covered the number. You look at the Sacramento Kings, they're kind of middle of the pack in both offensive and defensive rating over the last 5 games. They're 20th in rebound percentage, so that's not good. 7-3 straight up and 5-4-1 against the spread in their last 10. And it kind of makes sense. Like I said, Sacramento has been one of those teams that's been up and down. They have a really good game, and then they wet the bed. A really good game, and they wet the bed. They lost to the Pistons outright as 13.5-point favorites, and then go, they get Denver and absolutely blast Denver in that last game. So OKC recently, 4-3 straight up, but they're just actually 3-4 against the spread as a 4-point home favorite or less. So when they've been playing these tight games at the crib, they haven't necessarily been covering all of them. Like I said, just 3-4 against the spread. Their last 5 games, peep this. This was interesting, and I kind of saw it because their defense has been sputtering just a tad bit, and they've hit some kind of a wall. You can tell. Last 5 games, OKC is the worst rated defensive team. Offensively, they're bottom 10, and they're the worst rebounding team in the last 5 games. They are 6-4 straight up, but these numbers kind of contribute to them being just 3-7 against the spread in their last 10 games. So you get, the Kings playing unrested opponent, of course, because OKC did play yesterday in Dallas where they got absolutely throttled. And in that spot, the Kings are 10-4 straight up when they're playing against an unrested opponent. The 11th in offensive efficiency, 19th in defensive efficiency, and they're plus 2.1 in point differential. So that says take the Kings in this spot. However, OKC is the best team, and they have been the best team in the league when they're playing on the second leg of a back-to-back. Unrested this season, 5-3 straight up. They're plus 18.1 in point differential. They rank first in offensive efficiency and 4th in defensive efficiency on the season. head to head, like Sacramento continues to dominate the matchup. I think I was on OKC when they went to Sacramento earlier this season, and it was a game where I don't even think De'Aaron Fox played, and Sacramento still won that game. They dominate in the head-to-head matchup between the two. They're 9-1 straight up, 8-1-1 against the spread in the last 10. And I think interesting to note in this game, Sacramento could be potentially looking ahead. They don't play tomorrow, but they do got a game in Phoenix on Tuesday. And we know that last time that they played in Phoenix, they lost that game 119-117. And probably the biggest collapse of a game this season. That was the game where I'm not sure who hit the game winner. I can't remember who hit the game winner, but I mean, they had a double-digit lead, I think, going into the fourth quarter and just fell flat on their face in that game. Probably should have won that game. OKC also, while they are on the second leg of a back-to-back, I think something to keep in mind is that before the game yesterday, they had 3 days off. And this was, I think, the first time that they've had 3 days off before a game this season. Like they had a lot of games where they played on the second leg of back-to-back, had 1 day's rest, 2 days rest, but playing that. I don't think that they're going to be as fatigued, is what I'm saying, because they got smashed yesterday. So coming back home, first game back home, they did lose against Utah last week as well. So this team has not been playing their best brand of basketball. As far as the total, like I said, I do kind of lean towards the over. Both of these teams are the top 7 in pace over the last 5 games. The head-to-head series is 6-3-1 to the over in the last 10 as well. I think one of those games went over. One of them was a push so far this season. And I can't trust OKC right now defensively. Like I said, last rated defensive team. We know that the Kings just want to get up and down the floor. I was also reading that Coach Mike Brown is, highly anticipating the Super Bowl. So I don't think his team is going to be super locked in here. Like, I think it's pretty easy to take the Kings plus the 3. To me, it feels easy to take the Kings plus the 3 just because you get OKC on the second leg of a back-to-back. But eventually they're going to turn up. And these are two teams right now. OKC is playing really, really bad basketball. And Sacramento, super inconsistent. As a road dog, you probably do want to take them because they have been one of the more profitable road teams so far this season. I mean, but with the point spread being 3, I mean, you literally just got to pick the winner of this game is how I'm seeing it. So no play for me on the side. If I had to play it, I do think that I would be looking Sacramento plus the 3 just because they have been playing so well. OKC is like a falling knife right now that I'm not willing to catch. But I do think the over is probably the bigger play. And I know Sacramento typically plays a little bit better defense, but I think OKC playing on the second leg of a back-to-back, I gave you guys those numbers. They are elite offensively in this spot. So top play, I think, on the board for today, especially without knowing the status of Jimmy Butler in the Boston and Miami game. I think it's the over 239. It looks like a 239 is still out there. I'll take the over 239 in OKC and Sacramento, especially with the pace that these two teams are playing with. So, and not expecting the most defense in this game as well. Now we talk about the resources as you guys. So, matter of fact, let's go top. Well, I just kind of gave you guys the top look. So, if I'm playing the Boston game, I'm taking the 6 with Miami. And I'm also looking towards the under. The under will probably be a smaller play, and we still got time to figure it out. It's 10:50 right now on the East Coast. These games got 3-4 hours before they tip off. But I'm taking the under in the Boston and Miami game. Under 226 would probably be a smaller play. But like I said, I need the status of Jimmy Butler before I play the side or the total. And then I'm taking Miami plus the 6. I do think that they are the right side in this game as a home dog. Sacramento, OKC. I think I'm taking Sacramento road dog. If I'm playing, but like I said, the top play on the board would be the over. Over 239. It looks like it's the best number you can get right now. Now we transition to the resources. I like to keep this slide up, keep this graphic up for you guys because a lot of people ask me where I get the information from. So you guys can see, all of my resources and what I use to kind of handicap these games. And then now we get into, if you like the video, if you enjoyed the video, please like, share, and subscribe. I want to go through the comments real quick. Let me know what you guys are on. As far as football, because I do see people talking about football. What's up, Brian? What's up, Zachariah? Justin, what's good with you, my brother? Jamie, my brother, prolific, always in here. PJ, he says Sunday NBA. Yo, let's go, Chris. Yeah, hopefully we can find some cash. And I will say this, man. I'm not a big prop better, but Sabonis has dominated the matchup between Sacramento and OKC. He's coming off a game with a triple-double against Jokic. I think Chet Holmgren is kind of hitting a bit of a rookie wall. And they don't have a lot of defenders if Bismack Biyombo is not going to be in there. But Sabonis has been killing, man, especially since he got snubbed from the All-Star break. So I'd be looking towards his props. For some reason, PJ, just reading your comment made me think about Sabonis. So, and you didn't even say anything about props. That was just something that was in my mind. Could not look away from Boston. Dog Friendly says Memphis broke my plus 475 legger yesterday. They killed me yesterday too, Dog Friendly. Let's see. Andrew says you mentioned Paul George would go off. I played his base 25. Yeah, Paul George had 33-point game yesterday. Everything I said came to fruition in that game yesterday as well. I talked about liking the under. The game went so far under yesterday, and I said PG would have a bounce back game, and he absolutely did. I didn't even know it was his bobblehead night. But bobblehead day yesterday in LA. But yeah, I think it was his bobblehead day as well. Rule Rizza says, Chris, this game is confusing. I agree there. What's up, Dwight? Appreciate you, Markel, for tapping in. He says, thanks for the info, brother. What's up, Arthur? Appreciate you for being here. What's up, Tasha? Rule Rizza says he's on Sabonis over 22.5 rebounds and assists. It's cleared 9-9 versus the Thunder. And I just kind of talked about it. I hadn't even looked into it. Sheeny says, yes, yeah, cash me out on that Cavs game last night, but I'm having difficulty getting a hand on today's card, though. I would agree. I haven't placed a bet in full transparency, but right there with you, my brother. Right there with you. Will Rizza says Holgram may struggle against the bonus. I agree. Will Rizza says OKC running out of gas before the break. That's exactly what it looks like. That's why I beat Kings for me. That's the only way I could play it. What's up, EQ? Brian says Thunder shot 38% yesterday. That's got to change today. I don't know, man. I mean, this Kings defense is so iffy. I mean, granted, they do play better on the road if you look at the defensive efficiency numbers, but not sure. Will Rizza says that 3.5 line is sharp. Brian says, who likes the Chiefs first half full game? I do. Haven't placed the Super Bowl bet quite yet, but I got a couple looks. I do got a couple looks, and I'm only taking the Chiefs, man. I'm not betting against Patrick Mahomes. It's the only way I would look is towards the Chiefs in the Super Bowl game today. What's up, Yaz? Chad says Kings are not a team you want to play on back-to-back. Kings, they can keep the points. Yeah, Chad, I agree, bro. That's the only way I would look is towards the over. I do think that, on the back-to-back, like I said, I think that they could go over for sure. What's up, Mayne? Appreciate you, Justin. David. What else we got? David says can't bet against Mahomes. Right there with you. Y'all says he's I think that's y'all says she's on Jalen Williams over 20 points today at plus 120, plus 115. RL says, what's up, Chris? Is there any way to learn SDQL language? Should I just keep playing with it? Yeah, absolutely. Just keep playing around with the queries. RL, DM me on Twitter if you want to. I don't mind. Like, if you got questions, shoot me a question. That's how I learned, man. I was just, asking guys questions because I thought it would be a profitable tool, to handicapping these games and making some money. I'm willing to learn. I'm a student of life, man. I'm always trying to learn, always trying to, change up things in my handicapping process. That's going to make me more profitable, better. Never too much pride for me to, to learn, adjust, and adapt. That's what I'm here for. The NBA continues to, evolve, and I'm always trying to evolve as well. So shoot me you got any questions, RL? If anybody got any questions, man, I'm always here to help. That's how I started, just sharing information. If you got any questions, RL, definitely shoot me a DM on Twitter, my brother, and I'll answer it for you, figure it out, as best as I can. But yeah, absolutely. Just keep typing in the queries, playing around with it. It'll pop up. You'll get to what you need to get to and figure it out for sure. Talk with me. Talk the talk, walk the walk says, don't looks like he's in a slump. His PRA under what looks tempting. Not sure who you're talking about there. Will Rizza says, like the Chiefs, 1DT first half. What is 1DT? Maybe Chiefs just first half and second half over public fade. And Yah says Tatum got to go for 25 today, or I'm done with him. Yeah, Tatum been trash, man. Just be honest. Tatum, I mean, he has been had some good games, but his bad games are really bad. And against the Washington Wizards the other day, when we needed that over 65.5 in the first half, he looked terrible. He looked so terrible. Daniel says Celtics still pissed from about the playoff loss. I'm not sure if they are, but they could be. Malik says should have faded the Bulls with you last night. Yeah, man. I mean, y'all actually look good, man. I think, Malik, the one thing I'll say, and I got to get up out of here. The one thing I'll say about that game last night, I watched most of it. is that when you have two teams that play defense so well, and the Chicago Bulls and Orlando Magic are two really good defensive teams. They're also two teams that play at a snail's pace. And I talked about the under as well. Didn't quite get there with the under, but you just see big lapses, right? Like there's certain times when Chicago will go on like a 10-2 run, and the next thing you know, Orlando will go on like a 15-5 run, right? But those runs are super, long periods of time because neither one of the teams can score off, consistently on the offensive end. So that's what we saw. I think, Orlando won the first quarter by 2, I want to say, but then Orlando jumped out. Then Orlando jumped out on them and had like a 5 or 6 point lead at halftime. What did Chicago do? They come back and win the third quarter by double digits. Then lose the fourth quarter by double digits. So, then they go to overtime and, just unable to make a shot. DeRozan missed the dunk at the end, and then they hit some free throws to end up getting the cover. Brian says, that first half Celtics, so many layups. I was yelling at you. Yeah, same here, Brian. We were on the right side, man. You're gonna have some bad beats like that. But the good thing for us is, All-Star break will be this weekend coming up, and then we get the serious basketball, man. Super excited. The second half of the season has been more profitable, throughout the first. So I'm happy to be up, 25 units at the end of the first, a little over 25 units at the end of the first half, because now we'll get motivational basketball, especially with some of these teams kind of jockeying for playoff seeding at the bottom of their respective conferences. So, teams like the Golden State Warriors who need every win that they can get. Teams like the Los Angeles Lakers, even in the Eastern Conference, you'll start to see the separation, from these teams. So super excited for the second half of basketball, man. But that's it for the day. Like I said, top look of the day for me would be the over in Sacramento and OKC. Over 239, I think, is the total. And then Boston, maybe even potentially a first half over too, especially if the pace slows down the second half. But I don't really see it doing that. Boston and Miami, I need the injury status of Jimmy Butler before I can feel like I can, make a play in that game with him listed as questionable. But I do lean towards Miami plus the 6 and the under 226 in that game as well. Best of luck to you guys, man. I appreciate everybody for tapping in. Please comment your favorite picks. Let me know what you guys are on. Super Bowl picks, NBA picks. Like the video, share the video, subscribe if you guys haven't already. Probably end up doing a night show to get ahead of the lines for tomorrow. And as always, man, bet responsibly. Best of luck on all your action. Enjoy the games, and catch you guys in the next one. I'm out.